What's the one maintenance habit most Lexus owners ignore that quietly destroys their engines? Skipping or cutting corners on oil changes, using the wrong oil, stretching intervals, and so on, right? But what if you love your Lexus and want it to last longer, cost you less in repairs, and keep that showroom shine? Today we're diving into the critical mistakes Lexus owners make, the ones that quietly chip away at reliability, resale value, and your blood pressure. Lexus owners manage to drive their cars for decades with almost no major problems, while others begin facing expensive repairs far sooner than expected. Mistake 1. Delaying oil changes. Okay, why do you think some Lexus engines begin to develop wear earlier than expected, even though they're known for legendary reliability? The most common cause is delayed oil changes. Lexus engines are mainly built with extremely precise tolerances, allowing them to run quietly and efficiently for many years. But those precise components rely heavily on clean engine oil to function properly. Oil acts as both a lubricant and a cooling agent. It reduces friction between moving parts while also carrying heat away from critical engine components. Over time, however, engine oil begins to degrade. Heat from the engine slowly breaks down the protective additives inside the oil, and microscopic contaminants begin accumulating within the fluid. When oil remains in the engine longer than recommended, it gradually loses its ability to protect internal components. This leads to increased friction and tiny amounts of wear that accumulate over thousands of miles. The engine may still run smoothly, which is why many owners assume everything is fine. But inside the engine, long-term wear is quietly increasing. Following consistent oil change intervals and using high-quality synthetic oil designed for Lexus engines ensures proper lubrication and significantly extends engine life. Now let's move to something much smaller than engine oil, but still surprisingly important. Mistake 2. Ignoring air and cabin filters. Could something as simple as a clogged filter actually affect how your Lexus drives? Yes, dirty filters can quietly reduce engine efficiency and interior comfort. The engine air filter controls the entire airflow entering your engine. For combustion to occur efficiently, the engine needs a precise mixture of air and fuel. When the air filter becomes clogged with dust and debris, airflow becomes restricted. As a result, the engine has to work harder to produce the same power. This may lead to reduced fuel efficiency, sluggish acceleration, or rougher engine operation. The impact might not be dramatic at first, which is why many drivers overlook it. Meanwhile, the cabin air filter plays a completely different role. This filter controls the quality of air circulating through the interior of the vehicle. When it becomes clogged with dust, pollen, and debris, airflow from the HVAC system decreases and interior air quality suffers. Replacing both filters regularly is inexpensive and quick, yet it improves engine efficiency and interior comfort at the same time. But while filters are simple to replace, the next mistake often becomes expensive if drivers ignore early warning signs. Mistake 3. Ignoring brake warning signs. What unusual sound do many Lexus owners hear but ignore until it turns into an expensive repair? That sound is usually worn brake pads. Modern braking systems are designed to warn drivers when brake pads begin wearing down. A squealing noise often occurs because the pads contain a small metal indicator that makes contact with the rotor when the pad becomes thin. This sound is intentionally designed as an early warning signal. However, some drivers assume the noise will go away or that it isn't serious enough to address immediately. When the worn brake pads continue to be used, the friction material eventually disappears and the metal backing plates begin scraping against the brake rotors. Once this happens, the rotors become damaged and must also be replaced. What could have been a relatively inexpensive brake pad replacement suddenly becomes a much larger repair. Addressing brake noise early keeps repair costs low and ensures the braking system continues performing safely. Now let's move away from mechanical components and look at something modern Lexus vehicles rely on heavily. Mistake 4. Ignoring software updates. Could ignoring a simple software update affect how safely your Lexus operates? In many modern vehicles, the answer is yes. Today's Lexus vehicles include advanced driver assistance systems, such as adaptive cruise control, lane keeping assistance, and collision prevention technology. These systems rely on sensors, cameras, and sophisticated software to operate properly. Manufacturers periodically release software updates designed to improve system performance, fix minor glitches, or enhance safety features. When these updates are ignored, the vehicle may continue operating with outdated programming. While the car may still function normally, some features may not perform as efficiently or accurately as they should. Checking for updates during routine service visits ensures that your Lexus continues operating with the latest improvements. But interestingly, one of the biggest mistakes Lexus owners make actually has nothing to do with technology. Mistake 5. Neglecting tire maintenance. Tires are the only part of the vehicle that actually touches the road, which means they influence nearly every aspect of driving performance. Braking, steering, ride comfort, and fuel efficiency are all affected by tire condition. What simple oversight can completely change the smooth ride Lexus vehicles are known for? Poor tire maintenance. When tire pressure drops below recommended levels, the tire begins flexing more than it should. This increases rolling resistance and causes uneven tread wear. Over time, the vehicle may begin feeling less stable, and fuel economy can decline. Another mistake some owners make is choosing extremely cheap replacement tires. Lexus engineers tune the suspension and steering characteristics around specific tire performance levels. Maintaining correct tire pressure and choosing high-quality replacement tires preserves the smooth and refined driving experience Lexus vehicles are known for. But sometimes mistakes happen when owners try to save money. Mistake 6. Ignoring the cooling system. Many drivers rarely think about the cooling system because it works silently in the background, but it performs one of the most important jobs in the entire vehicle. Your engine produces an enormous amount of heat during operation. Without proper cooling, internal temperatures can rise quickly and cause severe engine damage. What hidden system inside your Lexus quietly protects the engine from catastrophic damage every time you drive? The cooling system. As simple as that. The cooling system circulates coolant through the engine and radiator to absorb and release heat. Over time, however, coolant slowly breaks down. The protective additives inside it begin to lose effectiveness, and contaminants can build up in the system. When coolant becomes degraded, it can no longer regulate temperature as efficiently as it should. Small issues may begin developing quietly. Hoses can become brittle, radiator passages may slowly clog, and water pumps can start losing efficiency. In many cases, the vehicle continues driving normally, which is why the problem often goes unnoticed until temperatures suddenly rise. Some drivers assume coolant lasts forever because the reservoir level still looks full. But coolant condition is just as important as coolant level. Old coolant can lose its corrosion protection and begin damaging internal components from the inside. Flushing and replacing coolant at recommended intervals helps prevent overheating and protects critical engine components. It's one of the simplest ways to ensure your Lexus engine continues running smoothly for many years. But while the cooling system protects the engine from heat, the next mistake involves something drivers interact with every single time they start the car. If you're enjoying this breakdown and finding it useful, take a second to hit the like button. Also consider subscribing to the channel if you enjoy content like this. Mistake 7. Incorrect DIY repairs. Think you can try to save money with do-it-yourself repairs actually cause bigger problems? Sometimes it can. However, many Lexus owners enjoy performing basic maintenance themselves. Tasks like replacing filters or checking fluids are perfectly manageable for most people. However, modern vehicles contain complex electronic systems and tightly engineered components. Installing parts incorrectly, using incompatible components, or tightening bolts without the correct torque specifications can create issues that may not appear immediately. Warning lights, sensor errors, or premature component failure may occur weeks or months later. Now, let's talk about a mistake that doesn't directly affect performance, but can cost owners thousands. Mistake 8, neglecting exterior and interior care. So can cosmetic neglect really reduce the resale value of a Lexus? Yes, appearance plays a major role in vehicle value. However, when buyers evaluate a used vehicle, appearance is one of the first things they notice. Faded paint, scratched body panels, and worn interior materials create the impression that the vehicle hasn't been properly maintained. Even if the engine and mechanical components are in excellent condition, cosmetic neglect can significantly reduce resale value. Taking care of the exterior and interior not only keeps the vehicle looking new, but also protects its long-term value. But another issue that many drivers overlook involves how the vehicle rides. Did you know? For decades, Lexus built its reputation on vehicles that simply refuse to break down. Engines run smoothly for hundreds of thousands of miles. Transmissions rarely fail, and major mechanical issues are uncommon compared to many other luxury brands. But that incredible reliability can quietly create a false sense of security. Because the car feels so dependable, some owners begin stretching maintenance intervals. Oil changes get delayed, fluids are assumed to last forever, and small warning signs get ignored. The vehicle keeps running fine, so the habit continues. The problem is that even the most reliable engineering still depends on maintenance. What happens next is something many mechanics see regularly. A Lexus that could have lasted 300,000 miles starts developing preventable issues around 120,000 or 150,000 miles, worn suspension parts, neglected cooling systems, overdue transmission service, or engines suffering from years of stretched oil intervals. In other words, Lexus vehicles are so reliable that they sometimes hide neglect longer than other cars normally would. Mistake 9, ignoring suspension wear. Parts such as shock absorbers, control arm bushings, and suspension joints experience constant stress during driving. Over thousands of miles, these components gradually wear down. When this happens, the vehicle may begin feeling less stable over bumps or during cornering. Why do some Lexus vehicles lose their smooth ride quality after years of driving? Suspension components slowly wear out over time. Many drivers assume this change is simply normal aging, but worn suspension components can affect both comfort and safety. Inspecting them during routine maintenance helps maintain ride quality and driving stability. Let's look at another mistake that can catch drivers completely off guard. Mistake 10, letting the battery fail unexpectedly. What small component can suddenly leave even a reliable Lexus completely stranded? The battery. Car batteries gradually lose their ability to hold a strong charge over time. Extreme temperatures, frequent short trips, and age all contribute to battery degradation. Many drivers only think about the battery once the vehicle refuses to start, which often happens at the worst possible moment. Replacing an aging battery before it fails prevents unexpected breakdowns and keeps the vehicle's electrical system operating smoothly. Mistake 11, skipping transmission fluid service. Transmission fluid lubricates internal gears, cools components, and allows smooth gear changes. Over time, the fluid begins to break down and collect debris. As the fluid degrades, shifting can become less smooth. and internal components begin wearing faster. Okay, what major component quietly wears out when drivers believe the fluid inside it lasts forever? The transmission. Changing transmission fluid at recommended intervals helps extend the life of one of the most expensive parts of the vehicle. Mistake 12. Warming up the engine. Too long. Is letting your Lexus idle for long periods before driving actually helping the engine? In most modern cars, it does the opposite. Years ago, older engines needed an extended warm-up time before driving. But modern Lexus engines use advanced fuel injection systems that manage cold starts extremely efficiently. Letting the car idle for long periods actually slows the engine's warm-up process and can lead to unnecessary fuel consumption and carbon buildup. Driving gently after about 20 to 30 seconds allows the engine to reach optimal temperature much faster. That's exactly how modern engines are designed to operate. Instead of letting the car sit and idle, simply drive smoothly during the first few minutes while the engine warms up. Lexus vehicles have earned their reputation for reliability through exceptional engineering. But reliability also depends on ownership habits. Avoiding these common mistakes allows these vehicles to perform at their best for many years. With proper care and attention, a Lexus can continue delivering the smooth, quiet, and refined driving experience that made the brand famous in the first place. If you found this helpful, make sure to subscribe to the channel and drop a comment below telling us which Lexus mistake surprised you the most, or if there's something about your Lexus you recently discovered that most drivers don't know. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.